Today's webinar, Bullhorn Onboarding the Next Generation. My name is Rhys Bateman. I'm the Product Marketing Manager here at Bullhorn, and today I'm joined by Jordan Hamilton, who's one of our solutions consultants. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to take you through a quick look at Bullhorn Onboarding, the new release we've just taken to market. Jordan's going to give you a demonstration of the end-to-end workflows and possibilities of onboarding, and then we're going to look ahead to the future. So just a little bit about Bullhorn Onboarding. It is part of our strategy to provide the best end-to-end workflow on the market for recruiters. We've taken on advice from our customers and made this integration as seamless as possible. I'm really excited today to show you how far we've taken the solution over the last 12 months. So specifically on Bullhorn Onboarding, the UK is at a situation right now where unemployment rates are at record lows. Candidates are sparse, and it's such a competitive space that any opportunity and edge you can get on your competition is critical. We look at some of these stats we've got here for you. 60% of job seekers have reported a poor candidate experience. And we know that of that, 35% of them have said they would no longer look to refer onto a recruiter someone who they've had a bad experience with. And we know that on the other side of the coin, that only 24% of agencies that we speak to every day say they've automated this process. So we're looking at your onboarding. You can offer a fantastic candidate experience that can lift your return rate for candidates, make a great solution through to your clients, but ultimately you've got an opportunity to get an edge up on that competition. So we look at Bullhorn Onboarding. There's three key components that we're really focused in on. The first one is helping you reduce costs and save time, helping you to control your documents and your business, and ultimately this vision we've got to offer this amazing candidate experience. So when we talk about reducing costs with onboarding, there's obvious changes you've got here. But by automating your processes with Bullhorn, you can take away costs in mailing, printing, scanning, time, all the picking up and putting down the jobs that you see today, all by streamlining that process. But it's far more than that when you think about the control and things you can then get into your business. We know that on onset of things like GDPR, there's a far closer look at compliance at the moment. And by having everything stored digitally, you have the ability to cleanse your data and know where everything's stored. So no more boxes floating up around the office, stray pieces of paper, or information that a compliance risk. Everything is digitized through onboarding. An amazing candidate experience. We spoke just previously about how poor an experience the market is experiencing today. By taking things online and thinking about your candidates, you can get them started as soon as possible, which is really the key here, about getting your candidates started fast. We know that everyone's experienced that moment between losing a candidate between placing the role and getting them started, and that's all we're thinking about here with onboarding. So just wanted to quickly take a look at our workflow that we see today. So a lot of manual processes in here, scanning of documents, email attachments being sent around, everything, whether it be online or offline, a lot of opportunities here for broken down processes. Think about people in your team that are onboarding a client that may go on holiday. You're putting at risk a whole bunch of key components about when they can get started. And not to mention the need for for wet signatures and really manual processes along that post. When we look at Bullhorn Onboarding, our vision here is for a digitized end-to-end process. So building documents, sending to candidates, candidate completion, and you managing and monitoring all from one single platform. Everything in real time, everything secure, and everything that your guys can have complete control over. We've looked at along the way every single component with this new release. We've looked at the recruiter in terms of how we can make it easy to monitor the status of candidates. We've looked at the operations team, making it easy to create documentation and manage at scale onboards. And for your candidates, we've led mobile first to think about the candidate and their true experience they want. We've made a branded environment that your brand can be portrayed through to your candidates, and we've gone mobile, meaning they can digitally sign on the go. They can track how far through their onboarding process they are, and ultimately just getting that amazing experience that'll make them come back to you for future work. So I'm now going to talk specifically around the new release. So we've spent a lot of time listening to feedback from our customers, and we're so excited to launch the new onboarding. For those that have seen the solution previously, you'll notice instantly we've completely upgraded the user experience. So what was once a standalone solution that worked alongside Bullhorn, we've now completely integrated them. So what Jordan will show you shortly, in our ATS, you can quickly access onboarding and the full Bullhorn look and feel you'd expect. We've added in some really slick features like our field flow back. So now you send the document out, your candidate can add their materials and details and it'll flow directly back into your Bullhorn ATS. So no more rekeying, no more mistakes. Everything is confined to the Bullhorn platform. We've introduced a new document builder. We've made it easier to drag and snap fields onto documents, far cleaner experience, everything you'd expect in the modern world. And like I said, we've really focused in on that enhanced candidate experience. We've led with mobile first. We've made an amazing online dashboard for them, which means they can track their own onboarding and upgrade documents wherever possible. So that's enough of an overview. I'm now going to pass over to Jordan, who's our solutions consultant, and he's going to give you a demonstration of the solution in its entirety. Over to you, Jordan.
Thanks for that, Rhys. In terms of the candidate onboarding process, there are three main perspectives that we're going to cover off today. The first of which is the recruiter's perspective and how they can send out documents to these candidates and then view their status. The second of which is the candidate's experience. So what are they seeing in that portal and how can they return these documents once they've got them? And the third, of course, is the administration part where you can build out these packets of documents. From a candidate's perspective, we keep this nice and simple. They just need to click on the onboarding tab within a candidate record. And from there, your users will be able to see any documents that have been sent to the candidates as well as their status. That's ranging from things like sent, in progress, completed and approved. And documents and packets can be reviewed here. To send new documents, they just simply click on send new documents. And the user will be presented with a list of all the packets and documents they have access to send right within the Bullhorn platform. So they don't need to go digging anywhere. They don't need to get them off a cloud drive, for example. They're all available here. And as more documents are added, they're also added to that list within Bullhorn too. Once your user's gone ahead and picked any of the documents or packets, they can go ahead and click send. They can choose to add a note, and then the recruiter's process is done from there. Once that's done, we'll jump into the candidate point of view and see just what they look at. This is what the candidate portal in Bullhorn Onboarding looks like, and as you can see, the information on the left-hand side is what's in progress and still required, and what's on the right are documents and other sign-offs that they've completed, so they'll always have a historical view. In this case, all a candidate needs to do, either on their desktop or their phone, is go ahead and jump into edit and submit a document. They can review all of the fields, some of which will also pull information from the applicant tracking system as well, saving a candidate's time. Complete the required fields that are marked in red with things like a signature. And then go ahead and submit that back to the agency. From a candidate's point of view, that's all they need to do. That will now flow back into the onboarding platform, and a compliance team can then manage and review those documents as they see fit. If we jump back into Bullhorn, we can go ahead and review what that looks like from an admin side of view. When you do go live with Bullhorn Onboarding, you will receive an extra menu button at the bottom of your menu item here, and you'll be taken to what we call the Bullhorn dashboard area within onboarding. This area is where you can build out your onboarding documents and then also place them within packets as well. Each document that you upload will be coming from a PDF template, and that can be done by clicking on Create New and filling out the document details. Things like the name of the document, the category, as well as the document description. And this is where you can add in any instructions for your candidates to make sure you're capturing the right information. You can also have things like attachments that can be allowed, as well as any approval rules and flowback rules too. So in the event that you do send out a PDF for someone to fill in or sign, you can have a copy of that PDF flow back into the Bullhorn Files tab under the candidate record. That can then be associated with a file type in your system, so all of your files are kept organized within the system as well. If we go ahead and edit the document, we can show you what it looks like to create a field within these documents. Now these fields are what your candidates will enter information into, and they can be as simple as things like a name, all the way down to things like an electronic signature. This is as easy as clicking and dragging these fields into the screen, and we've added a new alignment tool to make sure your documents look as slick as possible. In this case, you just need to give the field a name, assign who has access to it, and then assign things like the type and any limitations to that field. So you might want to set things like a character limit, as well as a particular format, like a phone number or a national insurance number. What you can now do with the added new feature of field flowback is have the information that the candidate adds to this field flow back into a field within Bullhorn. And that's as easy as adding a flowback target. So you can choose either a record on the candidate or placement. And within that particular record, any of the fields that are available within this drop-down list, and they can be standard or any of your custom fields that you've added into the system as well. You can then add things like restrictions as well as a source. So in the event of the document you saw before, that actually pulled the first and last name from the candidate record within the system and added it to the field there. What that does, it just saves your candidate time and really improves the experience overall. Once that field's completed, you can click save and go ahead and add that one to the form. Any fields you've created in the past are also saved and they can be added to other forms. So rather than creating the same full name field every time, you can save it as a default and simply just drag that out every time. In terms of packets, a packet is essentially a folder of documents. So once you've created that document a number of times or different versions of that document, you can add it to what we call a packet. And then you can subscribe your candidates to that packet. Now the power of packets comes in is where a candidate has been assigned a packet, for example, and documents within that need to change or an additional document needs to be captured. What you can do is amend the packet and then notify all of the connected users to that packet that there's an update for them. Within each packet, you can see there's a set of documents. You can adjust things like the order and also download a copy of that to review it. And we've added a few extra action items along packet management to make your life a little bit easier as well. Things like making a duplicate version of the packet to adjust it or amend it for a new year, for example, and the ability to rename and also now archive packets too. In terms of documentation, that is essentially the onboarding piece. I want to talk about how you can now start reporting on things like your candidate statuses through the onboarding process. Under the Users tab, this is your dashboard, and as you can see, it's got the same look and feel as any of the list views within Bullhorn. You've got all your names on the left-hand side as well as their status through the process on the right. So you've got things like how many documents have submitted versus how many approved. And you can see that once candidates have completely finished up all the documents that are required of them, it will turn to green. So a really easy visual indicator for your admin team there. As we scroll down, we can have a look at our candidate here, James, who's done 7 of 11 and 6 have been approved. And using the binoculars, we can dig into those particular documents. So we get information about the candidate here with a very similar, again, look and feel to Bullhorn. We get actions in the top right, so we can send documents from here or even send an onboarding reminder email. What we can also do is dig into each document individually. So in this case, we have all of the documents that have been sent to James based on either the candidate or the placement records associated with him. And we have the status of those documents on the right-hand side as well. In this case, we've got the offer letter and we can see that's been approved. As an admin, I can click into that and have a look at what's been filled in. So I can see it's got the name there as well as his electronic signatures. But if something was to go wrong, if there was a typo, for example, I have the option to then unsubmit and unapprove it as well. For those that are in progress, I can also have a look into those particular forms and see what's been completed and what's not, so what's still missing. In this case, we're not going to approve it because there's still some fields missing. We've got things like the country of residence and birth that still need to be filled in. But as an admin, I have the overview of that at all times. In terms of the onboarding product, that is essentially the process from start to finish. Back to you, Rhys.
Thanks so much, Jordan. The solution is looking fantastic. So guys, as Jordan has just said, we've rebuilt the solution from the ground up. It's got an amazing look and feel now. It's completely hooked into the Bullhorn experience that you'd expect. And our clients have been giving us some feedback as well. So the proof is in the pudding around time saving. We know that's a critical component of what we're trying to do here. And 85% of our customers that are using Bullhorn onboarding so far have seen at least a 15% increase. Reduction in the time they've needed from new hires. So a fantastic proof point to not only a great experience, but time saving and runs the ball for your team. When we look at, I've got some great customer quotes here. I'll let you read this in your own time, but fundamentally this client is talking about taking their onboarding process down from days to just hours. And they also like that it's branded. They're getting their company logo out in front of their candidates, building that relationship. But ultimately, it's all about saving time and getting these candidates into their roles as soon as possible. When we specifically look at the new release, it doesn't take much to see here that everyone's loving the new look and feel. They understand how much more streamlined it is, and it's making the process even easier than it has been in the past for onboarding. So there's a little bit in there for both our new customers and our existing customers with this latest release. So I said at the start, that we're invested in building the best end-to-end platform on the market, and there's a lot more to come from onboarding. So everything you've seen today is available live. So talk to your account manager, you can get up and running and you can get all those features. But we are committed over the next 12 to 18 months to extend this platform even further. A couple of things I just want to call out here. Smart forms, that's going to allow some pre-population of fields, make the process even easier on both candidate and the agency side. We've also looked at things like SMS enhancements. So whilst we know that most of our candidates today are using mobile phones, we know that we want to give options to our customers. So SMS enhancements will allow us to do more alerts via other traditional means. So that comes to the end of the core presentation. We have collected a few little questions along the way, so I'll just run through them now. So I've got a question here from an existing customer, and they've asked when the solution's available for them. So any existing users of onboarding today on the line, we are currently rolling out our program of activity to move every customer to the new platform, and that will be happening over the next 6 to 8 weeks. If you've not had confirmation of your timing, please get engaged with your Bullhorn account manager, and they can make sure that you're on the right list, and that we're taking care of that. The process is seamless. We do the background move we'll do the move in the background, and all of your every setting you've got should come across, all your packets, everything should be nice and clean. So a really good experience there. Another question, this is my favorite one we always get, is around pricing. So we've specifically steered away from pricing today because everyone's needs are different. Please talk to your account manager about getting a deep dive and discovery on your processes. They can get the likes of Jordan and his team out to run a demonstration with you, understand your processes end to end and how we can help with the solution. And then ultimately that will then feed into the price and considerations you need to make on that front. So that's all we have time for today. You do have a little bit of homework, and that's to get in touch with your Bullhorn account manager, give them feedback on this session, on the solution, and get in touch about getting a deep dive on how we can help you improve your onboarding processes. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.